Hi, and welcome to the next destination of our Yorkshire road trip, the beautifully petite city of Ripon. Ripon is in the northeast of England and one of the smallest cities by population, the third after Wells and Ely. From the start of the trip in York, we headed to Whitby, which you can catch at the end, before we took the scenic route to Ripon, extending the 60 miles to 95. With a few pointers on places we wanted to see. So without further ado, let's go and discover more of Ripon. And we're going to start with our accommodation, the JD Wetherspoons run Unicorn Hotel on the edge of the marketplace. Before we spin round and catch the cabman's shelter, this was a small but fascinating reminder of Victorian life. Built in the late 19th century, it provided horse-drawn cab drivers with somewhere to rest, whilst waiting for fares in what would have been a busy marketplace. With the red phone boxes lined up, you get a feeling that Ripon is traditional. Despite being overlooked by the Romans, who had settled at nearby York just over 20 miles to the southeast and created an outpost just under 4 miles away at North Stanley, it sprung to life under the Anglo-Saxons before attracting the attention of the Vikings and then the Normans. Standing proudly on Ripon's historic marketplace, Ripon Town Hall has been the heart of the city's civic centre since 1801. Its elegant Georgian architecture reflects the importance this city once held, and apart from being the town hall, it's also where you'll find the tourist office. And whilst we talk tourism, it's probably a good time to mention, if you're enjoying this video, think about giving us a like. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you don't miss the rest of this trip and any of our other travels. Now the centrepiece of the marketplace, the Ripon Obelisk. It is one of the city's most recognisable landmarks. Erected in 1702, it is traditionally attributed to the architect Nicholas Hawksmoor. It is a civic statement of pride and status. It is often described as the oldest freestanding obelisk in England. We'll be back here later for a display of that civic pride, so don't miss that. We're going to head along Kirkgate to take a look at Ripon Cathedral, or to give it its formal name, the Cathedral Church of St Peter and St Wilfrid. Originally founded in AD 672, when Wilfrid created a monastery here, although the current church was built between the 13th and 16th centuries. The remains of that original church can be found in the crypt. It was a collegiate church, also known as Ripon Minster, until 1836, when the Diocese of Ripon was created. This in turn allowed Ripon to be elevated to city status by an Act of Parliament. So the cathedral and the city of Ripon are closely linked. One of the things I always enjoy about visiting a place of worship, especially the grander ones, is the detail in the workmanship. You feel there is a deep sense of pride in the architecture and the features inside. There's certainly a sense of one-upmanship in the buildings. There's the beautiful stained glass windows, both ancient and modern. And I like those that manage Ripon Cathedral include this extra detail. I guess I don't need to tell you this, but make sure you take the time to enjoy the cathedral, and don't forget to look up. There is beautiful detail everywhere, from the 1913 bronze pulpit to the 3 21st century statues by Harold Gosney. But I guess one of the highlights has to be the pulpit screen and the beautiful cathedral organ that sits above it. The screen dates from around 1470 and features kings, archbishops, a saint and singing angels. It was built to separate the congregation from the choir, and like so much of the cathedral, the pulpitium has been restored over the years. Now let's step through to take a look at the choir, and you're greeted by the 1854 east window by William Wales. However, the beautifully carved archwood choir is much earlier, said to have been created between 1489 and 1494. Obviously the lighting is somewhat newer. Let's enjoy a look around. you get another look at the 1911 cathedral organ by Harrison and Harrison of Durham, one of Britain's most respected organ builders. Unfortunately, we didn't get to hear it in full song. Always a shame. A look around Ripon Cathedral and you can appreciate the architecture, from the early English Gothic of the 13th century, the decorated Gothic of the 14th century, and the perpendicular Gothic of the 15th century. And that's not to mention the Victorian embellishments, including the magnificent east window, and below that the high altar. Next to the high altar, on the left, is St Peter's Chapel, with a beautiful stained glass window and a Rubens triptych. Another chapel that caught our eye was the Chapel of the Holy Spirit. We have another of those statues by Harold Gosney, and in contrast we have Ripon Cathedral's marble font, dating from the late 1400s, and looking a little worn from all those years of service. So after our little look around, it's time to step outside, and I think we'll have a look around Ripon Cathedral. It's all rather impressive, with subtle Gothic styling. And whilst it's not the biggest cathedral, it's perfectly in keeping with Ripon, and reminds me of our own Rochester Cathedral. And now time for a change of view. We've headed back along Kirkgate, and we're making our way down Duck Hill towards the River Skell. This is a small but historically significant river that is only around 12 miles long and runs past the Fountains Abbey and into the River Ure to the east of Ripon. And whilst we use Ripon as a base to visit the Fountains Abbey, which is only 5 miles away, you could explore the Yorkshire Dales National Park, which you can reach the eastern end in around 12 to 15 miles, or further to the east to Yorkshire Moors National Park, just 30 to 35 miles away. Whitby can be a day trip and is around 60 miles away, and that will take around an hour and a half. Our next destination on this road trip will be Harrogate, which is only 12 miles away, but we'll make it 120 as we take in the Yorkshire Dales. If you want to check out any more of these travels, then you'll find our Tour of Yorkshire playlist at the end. It's just a short walk from the River Skell to the Ripon Canal, an 18th century man-made waterway that links the centre of Ripon to the River Ure, which in turn joins the River Ouse that flows through York. From spring to late summer, it's possible to take a 30-minute cruise along the canal. As with all my videos, there'll be a link in the description for this, along with all the other places of interest I have mentioned, so you can find out more if you want to. We've made our way to the Water Rat pub and the River Skell again, as we make our way back to the centre of the city. It's only a short walk along historic little streets, and you may recognise the back of Ripon Cathedral. I did say Ripon wasn't a big city, but it does have a few little museums. The first being the Ripon Prison and Police Museum, housed in the former Ripon Liberty Courthouse and Prison, dating from 1830. As we walk up Allhallow Gate, we find another museum that's part of the Ripon Museum Trust, and that's the Ripon Workhouse Museum. So we've made our way back to the marketplace, and I think you'll agree Ripon is a charming city, full of history. And now we have one of Ripon's 4 hornblowers setting the watch. There'll be a link in the corner for another video with a full ceremony, including a talk by Gunnar on the history of the practice of setting the watch. Well, I hope you enjoyed that, but there's just a little more. We have a couple of vintage cars that turned up, magnificent, and then a little look down Kirkgate as dusk settles in. We've had a thoroughly enjoyable time in Ripon. Have you visited, or are you a Ripon resident? Leave us a comment below with what we should check out if we make our way back to Ripon. Anyway, I think that should bring this video to an end. Thanks so much for watching. I really hope you like what we put together. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to catch more of our travels. Remember, stay safe, stay well, and happy travels.